What else can you expect in the real world? Let me tell you. As you leave these gates and re-enter society, one thing is certain. Everyone out there is going to hate you. Jacob is right. Never tell anyone in a roadside diner that you went to Harvard. In most situations, the correct response to where do you go to school is school. I never had much in the way of book learning and such. Then get in your BMW and get the hell out of here. No. You see, kids, you're in for a lifetime of, and you went to Harvard? Accidentally give the wrong amount of change in a transaction, and you went to Harvard? Ask the guy at the hardware store, how these jumper cables work, and here, and you went to Harvard? Forget just once that your underwear goes inside your pants, and you went to Harvard? Get your head stuck in your niece's dollhouse because you wanted to see what it was like to be a giant. And you went to Harvard. Let's just slow this thing down. You see, to really know what's in store if you got to Harvard, I'm going to change up a little bit here. I have to tell you what happened to me after graduation. I'm going to tell it simply, I'm going to tell it honestly. I'm going to tell you my story because, first of all, I think my perspective may give many of you hope. And secondly, it's such a cool, amazing rush to be in front of 6,000 people and just talk about yourself. So, it's just great. It's so cool. And I can take my time. I'll water if I want or not. Kids excited? Parents, who is this man? What's wrong with Ted Hobble? I've drawn something. See, kids, after graduating in May, I moved to Los Angeles. I got a 3-week contract at a small cable show. I got a $380 a month apartment, terrible dump. And I bought a 1977 Isuzu Opal, a car Isuzu only manufactured for a year because they found out that technically it's not a car. Quick tip, graduates, no 4-cylinder used vehicle should have a racing stripe. So I worked at that show for, about a year or so, feeling pretty good about myself. When one day they told me they were letting me go. I was fired. I hadn't saved any money, so I tried to get another job in television as best I could. And I couldn't find one. Couldn't find any job in television. So with nowhere else to turn, true story, I went to a temp agency and I filled out a questionnaire. And I made damn sure that they knew I had been to Harvard, that I had written this thesis, and that I expected the very best treatment. And so the next day I was sent to the Santa Monica branch of Wilson's House of Suede and Leather. Now, when you have a Harvard degree, and you're working at Wilson's House of Suede and Leather, you are haunted by the ghostly images of your classmates who chose graduate school. You see their faces everywhere in coffee cups, you see them in fish tanks, you think you're going crazy, and they're always laughing at you as you stack suede shirts no man in good conscience would ever wear. I tried a lot of things during this period, acting in corporate infomercials, serving drinks in a non-equity theater. I even took a job entertaining at a 7-year-old's birthday party. In desperate need of work, I put together some sketches and scored a job at the fledgling Fox Network as a writer and performer for a brand new show called The Wilton North Report. I was finally on a network and really excited. The producer told me the show was going to revolutionize television, and in a way it did. The show was so hated and did so badly that when 4 weeks later news of its cancellation was announced to the Fox affiliates, they burst into spontaneous applause. That had never happened before in television. Eventually, though, I got a big break. I had submitted, along with my writing partner, a batch of sketches to Saturday Night Live, and after a year and a half, they read it. And they gave us a 2-week tryout. The 2 weeks turned into 2 seasons, and I felt, hey, this is success. I'm successful now. Successful enough to write a TV pilot for an original sitcom. And when the network decided to make it, feeling good, I leave Saturday Night Live. Time to go to hell. Now, this TV show was going to be groundbreaking, this new one. It was going to resurrect the career of TV's Batman, Adam West. It was going to be a comedy without a laugh track or a studio audience. It was going to change all the rules. And here's what happened. When the pilot aired, it was the second lowest-rated television show of all time. It's actually tied with a test pattern they show in Nova Scotia. So, I was 28, once again, no job. I had good writing credits in New York, but I was filled with disappointment, and I had no idea what I was going to do next. I started smelling suede on my fingertips. And that is when The Simpsons saved my life. I got a job there. I started writing episodes about Springfield getting a monorail or Homer going to college. I was finally putting my Harvard education to good use, writing dialogue for a man who's so stupid that in one episode he forgot to make his own heartbeat. It was good. And then an insane, inexplicable opportunity came my way, a chance to audition for host of the new late night show. Well, I took the opportunity very seriously, but at the time, I have to be honest, I had the relaxed confidence of someone who knew he had no real shot. So I couldn't fear losing a great job that I had never had, that I couldn't hope to have. And I think that actually, that attitude made the difference. I will never forget being in the Simpsons recording basement that morning when the phone rang. It was for me. My car was blocking the fire lane. But a week later, I got another call. I got the job. So this, finally, was undeniably it. The truly life-altering break that I'd always dreamed of. And I went to work. I gathered all my funny friends and poured all my years of comedy experience into building the show over the summer. I gathered the talent, figured out the sensibility, found Max, found Andy, found my people. We debuted on September 13th, 1993, and I was really happy with our effort. I felt like I had seized the moment, that I had put my very best foot forward. And this is what the most respected and widely read television critic Tom Shales wrote in the Washington Post. It's an actual quote. O'Brien is a living collage of annoying nervous habits. He giggles and titters, jiggles about, and fiddles with his cups. He has dark, beady little eyes like a rabbit. He's one of the whitest white men ever. Shut up. O'Brien is a switch on the guest who won't leave. He's the host who should never have come. Let the Late Show with Conan O'Brien become the Late Late Show, and may the host return to Conan Oblivion whence he came. End quote. There's more, but it gets kind of mean. Needless to say, I took a lot of criticism. Some of it deserved, some of it excessive. And I'll be honest with you, it hurt like you would not believe. But I'm telling you all this for a reason. I have had a lot of success. I have had a lot of failure. I've looked good, and I've looked bad. I've been praised, and I've been criticized. But my mistakes have been necessary. Except for Wilson's House of Sway. Now, that was stupid. Don't do that. I've dwelled on my failures today because as graduates of Harvard, your biggest liability is your need to succeed. Your need to always find yourself on the sweet side of the bell curve. Because success is a lot like a bright white tuxedo. You feel terrific when you get it, but then you're desperately afraid of getting it dirty, of spoiling it in any way. I left the cocoon of Harvard. I left the cocoon of Saturday Night Live. I left the cocoon of The Simpsons. And each time it was bruising and tumultuous. And yet every failure was freeing, and I'll be honest with you, today, I'm as nostalgic for the bad as I am for the good. So that's what I wish for all of you. The bad as well as the good. Fall down, make a mess, break something occasionally, give this guy a hard time. Know that your mistakes are your own unique way of getting to where you need to be. And remember that the story is never over. If you'll indulge me for just a second, I'd like to read a little something from just this year. Somehow Conan O'Brien has transformed himself into the brightest star in the late-night firmament. His comedy is the gold standard, and Conan himself is not only the quickest and most inventive wit of his generation, but quite possibly the greatest host ever. Ladies and gentlemen, class of 2000, I wrote that this morning. That when all else fails, you always have delusion. I will go now to make bigger mistakes, and to embarrass this fine institution even more. But let me leave you with one last thought. If you can laugh at yourself, loud and hard, every time you fall, people will think you're drunk.